Sean St. Jacques here with you. About to get you started for Louisville and Loudoun, or so we thought. 7:30 p.m. was the original kickoff time. Mother Nature has intervened. The expected kickoff time now is 8:36 Eastern between the Players' Shield leaders and playoff hunting Loudoun United. We hope to see you then. Gary Bailey will be with me, and we will get the call underway in about an hour's time between Louisville and Loudoun. See you in an hour. From Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, we did have rain coming down earlier, but the rain did eventually go away, and sunny skies now rule the day here in Louisville as we are finally ready to get this one started between Lou City and Loudoun United. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey, and our entire crew, happy to have you with us. And Gary, a very important game for both teams, a chance for Louisville to clinch a playoff spot. Loudoun trying to make some headway to stay in the top 8.
Yeah, winner or draw for Lou City, and they will clinch that playoff spot, and that's brilliant given that, 9 games still to go. What an achievement that would be. For Loudoun United, though, they are battling for that final playoff spot. It's a tough one for them.
Again, just to reiterate the clinching scenarios for Louisville this weekend. Like you said, Gary, avoid defeat tonight. You don't have to worry about things tomorrow. But if Louisville loses, they could back their way in via a Carolina dropping points tomorrow against Oakland. So we'll see how that plays out. Last time out for Louisville was pretty unpredictable against North Carolina. Yes, there were 10 goals, but there were a record 3 own goals in the game as well.
Yeah, incredible. And 4 goals coming from corners. It is one of those own goals. Paco Craig, there's a penalty from Wilson Harris. There's another goal from Wilson Harris on a breakaway. And then eventually Jansen Wilson gets his second here with a lovely shot. Maybe took a slight deflection on the way. 6 goals in total, 10 in the match.
Wild affair there, and it stands to reason as we look at tonight's player profile presented by Commonwealth Credit Union that Wilson Harris is our player to watch, and rightly so.
A fantastic player this season, second in the Golden Boot race with 16 goals. As mentioned, 2 just in the last match. He's on fire at the moment.
Yeah, not sure he'll catch Nick Marcanic, but if he puts together a good performance tonight, you never quite know. Last time these two met, you have to go all the way back to April. Not much to separate them, really. It was an own goal from Florian Velo that allowed Louisville to leave Segra with the points.
Yeah, look at that. Just puts his foot out there, Florian Velo, and it just gets a touch and it squeezes into the far corner. But it's going to be a close match tonight as well, I think. Loudoun United are becoming a better and better side with every game.
A big reason why they've been so good is Zach Ryan's goal-scoring ability.
Yeah, 4 goals in the last 7. He's joint 9th in the Golden Boot race. Did miss a crucial penalty against Rhode Island in the final minute. They got a draw, so points lost there, but such a fantastic striker. And again, something for the boys in purple to keep a very close eye on.
We're excited to see how the rematch is going to play out between two teams currently sitting in the top 8 of the Eastern Conference playoff race. We'll see if Loudoun can come into the fortress that is Lynn Family Stadium and get a result tonight. The kickoff after the weather delay is coming up next.
Okay, ideas, where are we going?
I got one.
What about a comedy show?
I've seen you, I've swiped on you. No. Okay?
Tacos.
Definitely tacos.
The all-new Camry is 100% hybrid. Lease one now for $299 per month or get 4.99 APR financing. Find your vibe in the all-new, all-hybrid Camry. Toyota, let's go places.
You ready to lose?
Oh, you wish. Let's go.
It's time to power up your old checking account. That's why Commonwealth Credit Union created Power Checking. This incredible all-in-one account powers your spending and with built-in high-yield savings, grows your balance at the same time. No minimums, no limits, just unparalleled benefits.
Best 2 out of 3.
Let's go.
Get to the next level with Power Checking, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
How do you get your news?
Is WDRB the soundtrack to your morning routine?
Or you can scroll on the go with the WDRB News app.
If you've already cut the cord, start streaming our news on WDRB+.
Maybe you like to read a more in-depth story and you use WDRB.com.
When weather's the biggest story of your day, the WDRB Weather app has video forecasts and radar.
However you choose to get your news, WDRB is the source. Here at WDRB, we are proud to partner with Susan G. Komen for the annual More Than Pink Walk. This event is a powerful movement to raise awareness and funds for breast cancer research, treatment, and support.
Join us at Slugger Field to celebrate survivors, remember those we've lost, and to take action to save lives.
Create a team and get your pink gear ready to join us October 12th. Whether you're walking in honor of a loved one
Or to support the cause, every step you take brings us closer to a world without breast cancer.
Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey here with you. joined by the teams as well, getting you set for kickoff between Players' Shield leaders Louisville City and playoff chasing Loudoun United in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship. Danny Cruz has 2 changes in his Louisville starting 11.
Damian Lass on an excused absence, so 24-year-old Ryan Troutman comes in for his first start in the USL, and Dylan Mares for Jansen Wilson also on an excused absence in a 3-4-3 shape.
Loudoun pretty similar with Ryan Martin's 11.
Just the one change, Keegan Hughes in for Gavin Turner, the young 17-year-old goes back to the bench, and then I think Keegan Tingy will move into that right winger back position, also in a 3-4-3 lineup shape.
Well, we talked about it earlier. It was a pretty tight encounter the last time these two teams met, but when you look at the overall history of this head-to-head, Louisville has dominated. Loudoun's only won against Lou City once in the club's history. You have to go back to July 28th, 2019. Well, we had an hour rain delay, give or take, but it's still a pretty good crowd despite all of that here at Lynn Family Stadium, and we are off and running here in Louisville, Kentucky. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey, happy to have you along for the ride. Louisville can clinch a playoff spot tonight if they avoid defeat. Loudoun could jump up a few spots in the Eastern Conference table if they can stun the league and take down Louisville, who have only lost once here all season. That was a surprising 5-2 thrashing at the hands of Conno Smith's Rhode Island FC. And moments into the match here, referee has to intervene after a challenge comes in from Aiden McFadden. Looks like it's going to go Loudoun's way. It's a free kick in just under 45 seconds.
Hey, you're talking about the importance of these points, but a win for Loudoun today. They go into 5th above Rhode Island. They jump right up in the table. And bear in mind, Pittsburgh Riverhounds are right behind them, so are North Carolina. So they need these points desperately, but not easy to come to Lynn Family Stadium. What is it, 11 home matches, 10 wins, a goal difference of something like 25 or thereabouts. It's a very, very difficult place to get even a point, never mind 3 points.
Yeah, just add 1 to a couple. It's plus 26 goal difference. It's hard to keep track of. It's been
wow.
Incredible numbers. And like you said, Gary, 11 out of 12. Louisville has won here. One shocker against Rhode Island really stands out more and more as the season moves along, but Danny Cruz's side have always been at their sharpest in front of their adoring public here this season. Early touch for Amadou Dia, who tries to cut past 2 defenders. Wonderful intervention from Florian Vallot, who unfortunately decided this fixture in Loudoun last time out at Segra Field. In April, we showed that earlier, an own goal unfortunately for him, gave Louisville the points. As the referee says that did not come off the arm. Keegan Tingy, I should say. Ricardo Montero Araya, he's our head official tonight. He's been pretty busy the opening 2 minutes. Good switch of play to Dia on the near side. But the whistle goes, offside flag is up, and it's going to be a Loudoun free kick. We told you earlier we, of course, had a 1-hour weather delay. Another look at the weather report brought to you by Advanced ENT. We've been told by multiple people that the bad weather has passed us by. Just under 70 degrees now in Louisville, and we should have a smooth sailing the rest of the night. And we do give a tip of the cap for Mother Nature to build the tension a little bit before this important Eastern Conference fixture. Here is Taylor Davila for Louisville. Lovely ball in behind. Dia cuts it back. Was he brought down? Referee has a look at it. It's going to be allowed to continue on. No penalty. Winder plays that ahead. Handball appeals come in from the Lou City players. Again, the referee waves them away.
Wow, it looked like a great call if there was contact. Now, difficult to say if there was or not, but the way Amadou Dia went down, it certainly looked like there was contact, and if there was, then clearly it would have been a penalty. But bearing in mind, there's no VAR as a referee. You have to be sure there's contact. I couldn't tell you if there is or not. I think if you're not sure, you can't give it. But That was really a dangerous moment there for Loudoun United.
Certainly got the fans into it early on. A few shouts from them as well. Play allowed to continue on both occasions.
You were talking about the rain, and it's going to be a slippery pitch, you would think, which is a bit of a challenge for Ryan Troutman coming in for his first start. And here we see him on the ball right now. You know, you're a young goalkeeper, inexperienced. You're coming into a team, as we mentioned, Damien Lass given an excused absence for today.
It's the other goalkeeper, Hugo Faroux, who has to get on the end of that for Loudoun. He's had a very good season for Ryan Martin's group. He gets it out of trouble for the time being, but McFadden rolls it out to the far side. Tries to chop this back. It's looped centrally, McFadden. Didn't get the cleanest contact on it, and Faroux is there.
Faroux has been in good form this season. Let's take a look. Can you see any contact? I don't think there is. Have a good again. Ooh, I don't know, maybe there is on second thoughts. Janus Lehrman coming in. I mean, here we are. It's now 3 looks I've had, and I'm thinking maybe I would start to point to the penalty spot. Referee gets one immediate look and has to come to a decision. So tough for the referee, but if there was VAR, I've got a funny feeling that could very well have been a penalty.
Challenge comes in from Kyle Adams, who Danny Cruz kind of challenged this week. He thought the center backs really struggled in the win over North Carolina, and said that Kyle Adams had to have a good game tonight. He commits a foul here on Zach Ryan.
Interesting, the criticism there from Danny Cruz. His back three, normally a very solid back three, Tosh, Ordonez and Adams, and he said in transition they got caught time and time again. I think some of that credit goes to Olex Anderson playing up front for North Carolina. What a good player he looks, but nonetheless they were given a bit of a torrid time, and Danny Cruz expecting more from his back three today.
Yeah, that performance kind of got lost in the history of the own goals, the amount of goals scored. Olex Anderson played so well for North Carolina, but too much Wilson Harris in Louisville in the end in a 6-4 victory. That has probably got to go down as the craziest game we've seen this season so far.
So far, yeah. Three own goals, which hasn't happened for a long time. A 10-goal game, the first since 2019 in the USL. And I think it's actually the first to ever feature 3 own goals. When I say it hasn't happened for a long time, I don't think it ever has happened. And 4 of the goals, by the way, came from corners, 3 of them for Lou City. So I guess if you're the tactician for Loudoun United before this game, you're thinking to yourself, well, if they scored 3 times from corner kicks, best we keep on our toes if we have to defend any corner kicks.
Yeah, Ryan Martin also talked to us, and he mentioned as far as keys to this game against Louisville City, said it's got to stay connected defensively. Said set pieces going to be very important, like you talked about. Louisville have done well in that regard, and said the repress wasn't where he wanted it to be against Phoenix last time out. Ryan Martin's talked multiple times this season about when Loudoun loses the ball to get it back within the next couple of passes that the opponent has. Said they didn't do that well enough last time out, and of course it cost them in a 1-0 defeat against Phoenix. So they'll hope to improve that, as the referee has a little spot of bother to deal with here. Khalil Ahmedkar has been summoned along with Amadou Dia. It's getting to that point in the season. There's going to be some tussles. There's going to be some physical play. Loudoun are desperate to get to the playoffs for the first time in the club's history. It would mean so much for them. And of course, Lou City have never won the Players' Shield. It's something that Danny Cruz has talked about finally getting that done. And of course, that would mean home field throughout the entire playoffs, including the final, if they get there.
Yeah, I can't believe it. They've been champions so many times. In fact, if they qualify, which, as mentioned at the start of the show, they could do today, it'll be the 10th year in a row they've qualified for the playoffs. They've won the championship, they've been to the final, but they've never won the Players' Shield.
Yeah, pretty remarkable considering all the success Louisville's had over the years. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe as well. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. And Select, of course, is the player's choice.
That's something we have to mention, especially for Lou City fans who look at Loudoun historically and go, well, that's an easy game, especially at home. This is a different Loudoun side this year. There's new ownership, there's new investment. The average age of the players is probably somewhere around 25, 26. It used to be, what, 19 or 20, a bunch of youngsters finding their way in the league. So this team it's a tough team to beat, as Lou City found out away from home. I don't think it's going to be easy at all for the boys in purple here tonight.
Yeah, Ryan Martin kind of reminded us that this was the first season. Obviously, they became independent last year, but this is the first season that Loudoun's really had a go at it, trying to make the playoffs, make a deep run, and have some real, tangible success. And again, they've had a couple of ups and downs like any team's going to have, maybe besides Louisville and Charleston in the East this season. But they're right there, and they have time to get to the playoffs and make the history that Ryan Martin's side would love to do. It means so much to the club, Ryan Martin told us, if they can get it over the line and get into the postseason this time. Good turn here from Taylor Davila. Turned right into space and was unoccupied on the edge of the penalty area, but he misses the target.
He's a good striker of the ball with that left foot of his, Davila. And got one in a recent match where he thumped it into the far corner. So you don't want to allow him anywhere near the box with time on his hand.
The all-USL first team last season with RGV, of course, sadly now defunct, but big reason why Danny Cruz wanted to bring him in this season. He's meshed so nicely into the Lou City setup. He's going to go out of play for a Loudoun throw, and Loudoun get possession back here. Early stages still in the first half. 8 prior meetings between these two. Lou City have won 7. Again, talked about the only Loudoun win, 2019, July 28th to be exact, of 2019, over 5 years ago. It was a pretty impressive win at the time. Loudoun won by 3-0, but haven't won since over Lou City.
Well, now is certainly a good time because, again, as mentioned, Pittsburgh Riverhounds right behind Loudoun United. And as well as they've played this season, and to be fair, Ryan Martin said they've missed 2 penalties against Miami and against Rhode Island, which cost them 4 points. You know, those 4 points would see them, sitting in 4th or 5th perhaps. So that's very expensive misses, and they need to put that right because they've got 2 very good teams right behind them. And if either of those teams pass them by, they will drop out of a playoff spot.
It is so tight right now, really in both the East and the West, but in the East in particular. I mean, fine margins between 4th and go all the way down to even 10th or 11th, but especially between 4th and 9th, it is so tight right now. And still a lot of games left where the table could look completely different when we get to the end of the season. Nice take from Amadou Dia. Cross into the middle, took a deflection and almost fell for Ordonez, but Loudoun deal with it. And Ordonez with a crunching tackle. Ryan Martin was pointing for his team to get a throw when Leggett was taken out there by Ordonez.
Yeah, Lou City just not allowing Loudoun to settle on the ball at all, getting very tight very quickly and doing it physically as well, fairly in the opinion of the referee on this occasion. But for Loudoun United, they're going to have to deal with that pressure, try and find a way to play through it. Not easy, especially here at Lynn Family Stadium.
And Loudoun gives it right back to Louisville, just to the right of Ryan Martin. Tosh from Ordonez. A little dink over the top, and Loudoun are going to have that covered. Awua uses Hugo Faru to help clear the lines. Referees allowed it to be pretty physical so far at the start of this match. Davila's run forward. This is Ray Serrano. He's also really come on this season. 10 goal contributions for him. 6 goals, 4 assists. After struggling at times, frankly, last season. Even Danny Cruz talked to us about that earlier this season, but he's really improved in 2024. Dia into the middle. That was cut out. Fallow and company have still some work to do here, and it is cleared up field.
See, that's the problem. They clear it up field. They can't play through the pressure. Boots it up, and the pressure comes straight back. Wave after wave of attacks.
Right on cue, Dia Again, tried to cross into the middle, looking for Wilson Harris. Ordonez commits a foul on Khalil El-Medkar, and Loudoun finally get a reprieve.
El-Medkar doing well to hold it up and win the free kick. That's what you need to do to stop that pressure. You could see how tight Ordonez was on him then. He's also leaving a bit of a, a bit of a mark on the back of his heel to say, hey, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of the game. So El-Medkar is going to have to be tough physically, strong mentally to keep dealing with this physical pressure.
Similar challenge Ordonez put on Leggett not too long ago as well. Louisville's enforcer in the opening nearly 15 minutes. Some dangerous playing out of the back here from Loudoun. They just about get it ahead, but again, Ordonez is right there, dispossesses El-Medkar. And McFadden reshuffles the cards. Louisville trying to track down their 19th win of the season. It would get them up to 59 points. And they're still in the conversation and maybe track down some of those 2019 Phoenix Rising records for goals and for points if they have a strong finish to the season. Another cross in, searching ball from Dia. Only as far as Davila on the clearance, and Sean Tosh picks it up. Serrano gets it back from Davila. Harris. And it's out for a goal kick. More Lou City complaints, but Loudoun just about do enough.
Good defending from Keegan Hughes there just to see that ball over the line. A little bit of contact. Serrano plays it forward. They were just asking, was Wilson Harris tripped? He does, and he just points to the corner. So what Wilson Harris was saying was it came off Keegan Hughes. Referee disagrees.
Faroux has the most saves of any Eastern Conference goalkeeper coming into this weekend. Sends that ahead. I believe he's up to 70 saves now, but Loudoun gets the call here. It's going to be a free kick for Ryan Martin's group, and they can have a few different options to work with here.
And a chance to have a go at Lou City. They've been defending most of the time. There's Danny Cruz back on the touchline after his red card. Away at Hartford. And he'll be happy to be next to the touchline so he can pass on his messages to his players. He's a real fighter, Danny, isn't he? And I think he passes that on to his players in every match in which he's been manager.
Learman steps in. I think also the fact that Louisville plays with a hunger and a chip on their shoulder, especially this season, it's really kind of returned to this squad. It's been relentless from Louisville. It's why they have a chance to break some of these wins and goals records that amazing Phoenix team set back in 2019.
Absolutely. And some of the players that aren't available, I mean, they've got Philip Goodrum on the bench for a start.
Yeah.
You're talking about Ray Serrano doing well. He's done very well, but he's going to have to keep doing well to keep Goodrum on the bench. You've got Jake Morris there as well, Adrian Perez, and you've got a bunch of players injured. Sharpie, Gonzalez, the wonderful Brian Ownby is still not back yet. Jansen Wilson has mentioned excused today. So it's a roster that has a great amount of depth, and that's what you need in case any one player gets injured. I think Lou City, other than losing Damien Lass, I think Lou City can probably replace anybody on this team with someone of almost the same ability.
And that clearance just found its way to Tommy McCabe for Loudoun. Florian Velo tries to lead the visitors up ahead, but Elijah Winder closes him down. Loudoun have not created anything really at the start of this game. Louisville have kept them at bay. Tingy resets the play. That's also something Louisville would love to get tonight, is a clean sheet, especially after they conceded 4, despite winning, of course, at North Carolina last time out. That's unlike Lou City. Elmedkar, nice turn into space here for Loudoun. Awuah for Ryan. It's touched away and out for a corner. Ordonez got a critical touch onto that. A set piece coming up for Loudoun United.
They did well to get in front there. Ordonez taking the hit in the process. Now Loudoun United for the first time just getting a dangerous ball in the box, and you can see as Ordonez clears that, one of the attackers comes bundling over the top of his shoulder.
Could be Loudoun's first big chance of the night upcoming. We know how good Tommy McCabe is at striking a ball. Can he find a teammate? Puts it right in. Winder gets his head onto it. Elmedkar recovers. Back out wide by Tingy. McCabe was asking for it. Plays a reverse ball. First time ball is back in. Oh, it was a free header centrally, but nobody's there for Loudoun to attack it. That could have been really dangerous.
It could have been. Unmarked at that far post there. Knocked back into play and doesn't fall for a Loudoun player. And Lou City perhaps getting away with one there.
Maybe a chance for Louisville to break with Winder up the other end. He's again claiming that he's fouled. It's getting more and more tension-packed here. Danny Cruz not happy either. Louisville and the fans not thrilled with some of the early decisions here.
You have to be impressed by Lou City, the fact that they are top of the table, top of the USL, breaking records. They don't need to win this. They don't need to put in an effort, and yet they're out there hungry, desperate to win. I guess, to be fair to them, they've got quality players on the bench, so you have to play well to keep your place in the side. But one thing that I'm very impressed with Danny Cruz, he keeps this team fighting for the cause when there's no absolute need to do that.
This portion of tonight's match is presented by Toyota, the Kentuckiana Toyota dealers. Ooh, a little bit of miscontrol there from Amadou Dia. That is out for a goal kick. Well, fans, when Lou City wins, you win. This season, Lou City has partnered with Wendy's to give you a free small Frosty if the boys in purple win. No purchase necessary. The offer is valid the following day after a win. Head to any participating Louisville area Wendy's location to redeem. Well, by my count, I think that's 11 games where Lou City fans have been able to get that free Frosty so far. Could be a dozen if they do it tonight. Ordonez on the step. Forced back to Tosh to reset. Goes out wide to Aiden McFadden, who's also been a wonderful addition this season for Louisville. He's fit the system like a glove. As has Jake Morris, who we mentioned earlier, on the bench to begin tonight's proceedings.
Yeah, Jansen Wilson as well with all the goals. He's had 5 in the last 5 matches. What a player he has been this season.
He was nominated for Player of the Month for the month of August for scoring those five goals, I should say, in 5 appearances.
Look how deep Loudoun are in that final third of their pitch. It's this low block, and I think when you face Lou City, it's probably the sensible thing to do, just to get numbers way behind the ball, make it difficult for them to get good service into Wilson Harris.
That goes back to what Ryan Martin told us. He says that his team needs to stay connected and be more compact in this game against Louisville tonight. And so far, they have given up a few chances, but they've been able to keep Louisville, for the most part, away from the really clear-cut opportunities.
Yeah, and I think if you'd have said to Ryan Martin and the players, you'd be, what, 23, 24 minutes into the game at 0-0, that's priority number 1. Just to deal with the early pressure you know you're going to get at Lynn Family Stadium. Now that's beginning to settle in a little bit more. Now you need to play through this high press, start to create opportunities at the other end of the pitch.
Coming together between Leggett and Dia. That went Louisville's way on this occasion. Yes, it's a quick free kick taken there. It'll be interesting to see if the physicality kind of starts to boil over, unless maybe by the end of the half we'll see a couple of yellows if it keeps up. But referees do have to keep a fine line when it comes to the physicality. It can get out of hand if it's allowed to continue and get more and more physical, let's say, as the match continues on. That header from McFadden is going to come up short, and Faroux is on the case for Loudoun.
Now there's a bit more space for Loudoun to play in because Lou City can't high press every occasion. You'd run out of legs if you did that. So having high press for the first 20 odd minutes, they're now picking and choosing a bit more carefully when they do expend that energy.
Kwame Awua on the turn for Loudoun. Let's take a look at Ryan Martin. Talk to us about how meaningful it would be for the players, for the club, for the fans to finally get Loudoun into the playoffs. And Gary, you know this as well as anybody. I mean, there's been years past, and Loudoun, they start out strong. It's the same old story. They start out strong, they show some promise, and then get around the early to middle part of the season, they fade, and they tend to not recover. Ryan Martin's heard the story a million times. This season, it's just been different, and they're gonna have a real shot at this down the stretch. And it would mean a lot, not just, I think, for the Loudoun club and the fans, but I think the league. It would be a huge, huge milestone there as well.
It would be, and I know he's very excited about the possibility of doing that. So many other coaches talk so highly of what Ryan Martin's done with younger players. Now he wants to show it with a squad where he can pick and choose the players he wants. As you mentioned, you know, they're much older, they're much tougher, they're going to fight right to the end, and they really have a great chance. Again, you go back to 2 penalty misses, but for that, they'd be sitting, I think, 5th in the table. And so he looks back at those and thinks, well, really, that's expensive misses. They've cost us. We can't afford to keep doing that. But they're right in the battle here. And my guess is, and I think he has also mentioned this, it'll probably go right up to the last match or two to decide if they go into the playoffs. So it's going to be a great run-in for Ryan Martin.
Yeah, that's going to be the challenge. So many teams are still in it. I mentioned earlier North Carolina, Hartford, trying to battle their way back into it. You mentioned Pittsburgh, Gary, and the teams ahead of Loudoun as well. Rhode Island just continues to get results.
It's a very good league, East and West. There's only one team who unfortunately have not been competitive, and that's Miami FC. Other than that, even El Paso in the West, they might be bottom, but you know, they're not an easy team to beat, and they've come close on a number of occasions. So there's going to be some good teams not making the playoffs, East and West. Some surprise. I mean, San Antonio, can't believe that they're struggling to make the playoffs. You know, Pittsburgh were Eastern champions last year, and they're outside of the playoffs.
Another chance here for Louisville. Faroux makes the save, and it ricochets off of Harris. That was Serrano who took on the shot, and Loudoun a bit fortunate that ricocheted off of Harris and went well wide of the target.
That's a good shot. Lots of power behind it, which made it difficult for Hugo Faroux to control where the ball went to, and it went straight to Wilson Harris, but he was only like 2 yards away, didn't have time to react, just hit him and went out. But that's better from Lou City, testing the keeper.
Davila back into the middle. That could be a foul, yes, against Harris. Bundled in, and that's going to be a free kick for Loudoun at the tail end of a Louisville City sequence here of attacks.
Serrano here gets in the box and has that shot. It is so good. And that's what he's done better this season. Last season, he wasn't getting these shots, and they weren't, if he did, they weren't causing problems. It's a good save, and again, Wilson Harris, it hits him before he even knows and goes wide. But that's better from Lou City. You never know what flies in the back of the net, as we saw last match against North Carolina with all those own goals and deflections and God knows what else. You put the ball on target, then there's a possibility that good things happen.
Loudoun might have a little bit of a problem here, as a few of the Loudoun players are over getting some more instructions from Ryan Martin. I think it might be Keegan Hughes who's got a bit of a problem here for Loudoun after helping to defend the last sequence. And again, Harris ended that sequence by committing a foul. We'll take another look.
Yeah, I think he stands on his ankle afterwards, so there's a clash in the air between the bodies. But look, when Wilson Harris comes down there, he stands on his ankle, and that's really painful. A lot of body weight. It's not just the connection, it's the whole body weight of Wilson Harris coming down on his ankle, and that is not just painful, it can cause all sorts of problems.
Well, the stoppage to take a look at Keegan Hughes has essentially turned into a timeout here. It did rain cats and dogs earlier, but it's cleared up since. And it'll be a Lou City free kick at the end of that sequence. You didn't like that one, Gary. I noticed you didn't laugh when I made that last joke.
About cats and dogs?
Yes. Not my best?
No, it's an old English thing from the days when the cats would hide in the roof, the straw roof, and when it rained heavily, the cats would fall out the roof onto the ground. That's the actual English history of where that phrase comes from. So
Professor Gary Bailey.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sure people would rather hear about tactics and that. So let's get back to this. By the way, talking tactically about Loudoun, or more likely the consistency, their lineup hasn't changed much last 3 or 4 games. There's been like one change here and there.
Yeah.
It's been the same front three of Leggett, Ryan, and Elmedcar last 3 or 4 games, which includes a win at Tampa Bay Rowdies. So I think Ryan Martin's getting to the point now where he has the team he likes, with just the odd tweak here and there, and that I think is so important, because there's that consistency, that comfort of the people around you that can get you over this line and into the playoffs.
We saw Keegan Hughes off to the side. He's back in there for Loudoun, so it's back to 11, the 11 very quickly here, just past the half-an-hour mark, as Harris steps in here to win the ball back for Louisville. Maris, smart pass out to the far side. McFadden has Serrano for company. Serrano looks for Harris, and Farouk makes the stop. The Harris-Hughes battle continues, and Harris did get that on target in the end.
He does so well to get it on target, and Hughes does well to limit the damage, but it's not just he gets it, it's a tight angle, it's a difficult angle, you're under pressure, and so much of his work, Wilson Harris, is on target, but I think Hughes lent into him enough to make it very difficult for him to put power on that shot. And again, it just shows you how dangerous Wilson Harris is around the box.
Wilson Harris, who we highlighted earlier, has 16 of Louisville's 67 goals that they've scored this season. And we talked about the Phoenix records. Their record for goals from back in 2019 was 89. Louisville have 9 games to catch that, and Louisville have to try to catch the 78 points that Phoenix put up in that season as well. They'll get to 59 if they win tonight. I believe their best possible total is somewhere in the early 80s, so it is possible that Louisville could rewrite the record books by the end of the regular season.
And I think maybe that's the motivation for them trying so hard. If you're a coach like Daniel Cruz, you've got to find ways to get your players motivated. They've obviously made the playoffs, whether it's tonight or next week. They'll probably finish top of the USL. So what else motivates them? Records. You want them to keep playing well, because obviously when you get to the playoffs, you don't want a team that's been coasting for 3-4 weeks, because that could trip you up. So Danny Cruz is finding every which way to make sure his players arrive at the playoffs in an aggressive and winning frame of mind.
As we saw in the first round of the playoffs last year, you got to be ready, as your season could end very, very quickly. Just ask Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay, I might add. Both of those top 2 seeds in the East lost on the first night of the playoffs.
Pittsburgh would be in a good example, because they won the East. They were well clear. They were at home against Detroit City and got well beaten on the night, and that was a total shock to everyone. So, yeah, Danny Cruz and his coaching staff will be well aware of all of that, and they'll be saying to the players, we must get into these playoffs at the peak of our performance.
And to your point, Gary, it's another reason to keep an eye on teams like Rhode Island, on teams like Pittsburgh, on teams like Loudoun, because if they can get in with some momentum, they can really do some damage. And what Birmingham did to Tampa Bay and what Detroit did to Pittsburgh last season is a prime example of that.
100% agree with you. And it's a tough one when you've set records in a season, because if you were in Europe setting records, you would be champions and you'd be celebrated. But here, setting records, it's great. Players' Shield, wonderful. But then all the focus turns to the playoffs. So coaches use these records, I think, to get their team in the right frame of mind getting into the playoffs.
Learman up ahead. Chopped down the near side, trying to find Wesley Leggett, who hasn't really got going yet for Loudoun. He's had an excellent season for Ryan Martin's group to this point, but hasn't really gotten involved yet tonight. And you could say that for most of the Loudoun players, to be fair.
I think they're just happy with 0-0. I mean, they haven't scored in the last 2 games, so that's the sort of stressful part. But at least in those last 2 games they never scored. They had an XG of 3 combined for the 2 games, which means they created enough chances to have scored 3. They just didn't finish them off. Here, I don't know what their XG is, but I'm guessing it's next to 0 because they really haven't threatened Ryan Troutman in goal. And you would think that's the one player you would put pressure on, is a goalkeeper who's been untested.
Yeah, Loudoun's XG is 0, Gary. You were right.
There you go. Well, it's, you know, whenever we've played teams back in the past and they had a new goalkeeper, the very first thing you do is you shoot from everywhere, you bounce the ball in front of him, you put crosses in, you just test the keeper out, and if the keeper comes through the test, then you back off. If they don't, you obviously keep on with the high balls. But Ryan Troutman's just been a spectator so far.
Maris also making his first start tonight for Louisville this season. Diaz steps in, a challenge on the edge of the penalty area. I think the fans were asking more about that one than the players. Maris pokes that ahead. Bodies flying everywhere. Harris for Davila. Davila to the near side. Elijah Winder picks it up. And Winder looks for the angle. Shot blocked by McCabe, out only as far as Tosh. The Louisville onslaught continues. McFadden gets a good ball into the middle, and it's touched away from Harris. Offside flag is up. And it might have been against Amadou Dia before it even got to Harris.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is Amadou Dia who got to the near post, but back to there was a trip before that once again asked questions of the referee. There is Dia at the near post. Pressure coming wave after wave there from Lou City. But the referee again asked the question, was it a penalty? Was it a trip on Amadou Dia? He says no. Difficult to say if it was or not, but Loudoun United living dangerously.
We say welcome to the fans watching this game on WBKI, the official broadcast home of Louisville City FC. Loudoun now are not too happy about how that last sequence played out. A few complaints coming there. Danny Cruz also a bit perplexed on the Louisville side of things. But Loudoun were looking for something there. Didn't quite happen the way they wanted it to, and I think it's just going to be a reset here. And now Danny Cruz wants an explanation. But before we sort that out, we revisit the Dia trip potentially.
Yeah, is there some contact there? Just looked like Keegan Tingy took too long to clear the ball. Amadou Dia steps in front of him. Is there contact? Is there not?
And Dia's foot was on the line. If it's on the line, it's in for a penalty, to your point, Gary.
But again, difficult for the referee to see it. So, you know, if you're watching overseas football, you think, okay, I'm going to go down and claim the penalty because VAR would go back and minutely check every angle. But it doesn't happen here. Referee's got to make a real-time decision. And once again, no doubt Danny Cruz and the Lou City players saying, wow, that's a second penalty appeal turned down. It's not fair, but it's very difficult for the referee to call that in real time.
Not just both sets of players on the pitch. Ryan Martin, both technical staffs, Danny Cruz, everyone's arguing for everything. It's that time of the year. Wesley Leggett, out in forward, talked about how every game is going to feel like a playoff game. They're treating every game like a playoff game the rest of the way. Ryan Martin echoed those sentiments when we chatted with him earlier this week. It's got a little bit of that feel already. It's only September 6th, by the way. Dia down the line for Maris. Below steps in nicely there for Loudoun and extinguishes that potential chance.
Well, I think for Loudoun, for Ryan Martin, and for virtually every team that's not guaranteed a playoff spot, and that's the majority of them, every game now is a cup final, because it might only be a point or two that separates you at the end of the day. So they know that everything, even if they get 1 point at Lynn Family Stadium, that 1 point could be enough to see you make it into the playoffs. And that's what the Loudoun players are going, that's the attitude they have going into this match. For Lou City, I'm just very impressed that they have also a fighting attitude when in fact they're guaranteed a spot in the playoffs.
Five minutes plus stoppage time to go in the half. Winder for Adams. Dia, first time ball, and the chance is missed by Serrano. Excellent build-up play from Louisville, but Serrano missed the target.
That's the one, Ray Serrano. That's what keeps you in the team if you can score that. Amadou Dia once again does brilliant on that left-hand side. Now, I'm not saying he has to score, I'm saying he has to hit target. If the goalkeeper pulls out a great save, fair enough, but you've got to hit target there. And even more so when you've got Philip Goodrum sitting on the bench, who we know is one of the best strikers around. Was it 2 years ago back in Memphis? Had a fantastic season scoring there. So if you're Danny Cruz, you're looking at that going, wow, if I'd have picked Philip Goodrum, maybe that's in the back of the net, or maybe the goalkeeper's having to pull out a great save to stop it. So for Ray Serrano, that's a big chance missed.
Might have been the best chance either side has had to this point in the evening. Louisville build again through Ordonez.
You mentioned Amadou Dia. I think he's had a fantastic first half, bombing down that left-hand side. You know, those two possible penalty appeals, and you never know, maybe one of them had been given, there'd be 1-0 up. And besides that, he's been at the near post flicking on headers, been on the left-hand side whipping in crosses.
Here's Winder. Adams. Here's Dia. Going infield, little give and go between Dia and Davila. Dia goes down again, and the referee again not interested. Almedkar helps the header along. Adams battling for it, gets it away from Leggett. It falls kindly, though, back to the path of Wesley Leggett. Winder steps in. It's a clean challenge.
Well, the crowd love the challenge. I'm sure Danny Cruz does as well. But they're going to have to stand tough and strong here, Loudoun United. They really are being tested physically. Also, I think Leggett took a little bit of a while to get that ball away from his feet, and it just allowed Elijah Winder that opportunity to come in and absolutely smash into the side of him.
Everything was clean about the challenge until they collided after the ball was fairly won, I think. Again, part of that is because the referees allowed it to be physical so far.
Which is fine. I mean, it's a physical game. As long as it's fair and it's within the rules, then I think most fans would tell you you want to see it. You want to see it physical. That's part of the nature of the game. You just want to see it fair, and obviously you don't want injuries to players.
Yes.
So, you know, shoulder to shoulder is one thing, but late tackles across the ankles and that, no, that's not acceptable.
Maris chops this into space for Louisville, tries to get the cross away. It's cleared away by Learman, only as far as Davila. And then Davila can't save it as Dia tried to head it back into his path.
Again, 0-0 coming up to half-time. I think for Loudoun United and Ryan Martin, they would have taken this before the match. puts him in a good position to come out second half and maybe apply a bit more pressure and test Ryan Troutman in the Loose City goal. They have to do more second half, there's no question about that, but I think they might put the first half down to just quietening the crowd and you know, dealing with the Loose City pressure. And but if they want to do something in this match, I would suspect they're going to have to be a bit more positive in the second half.
Harris with a push. Not the first time he's tangled with Keegan Hughes, and it's a Loudoun free kick with a minute left of normal time in the half. That's given away, but McFadden can't link up a pass with Serrano, and Awua is there to move it forward initially for Loudoun. More work to do here. Hugo Faru gets it clear onto this near side, but it goes right back to Louisville. Oh, a little bit of pushing and shoving. Maris has to be careful there. Keegan Tingy getting tangled up with him. And the referee finally blows his whistle to stop the pushing and shoving between those two as it continues to get testy. Tough to tell who instigated that, but Maris clearly took exception.
Well, you're right about one thing, it really is a physical battle. There's 2 minutes added. And it's a battle that years past Loudoun would have lost physically. The younger players would have wilted under the pressure. But look at this team, they're getting stuck in. I think we're in for a treat in the second half as well.
Those 2 minutes, by the way, brought to you by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. 2 added minutes in the half, as Erlandson also puts in a challenge there. Still time for someone to gain some late first half momentum. Serrano out wide. Good ball in by Dia, too close to Faru.
Yeah, but annoyed himself there. You could see just remonstrating with himself as he was walking back. But the idea is good, and he has put in such quality from the left up until now, but that one just way too close to Hugo Faru.
And again, this is the first of 3 games going on tonight. New Mexico against Miami in Albuquerque, and then on the deuce, ESPN2, Phoenix and Tulsa to wrap things up. If that's not a 6-pointer, I don't know what is these days. That one's got a lot riding on it as far as the Western Conference will push to those final few playoff spots. It's your earlier point about San Antonio, but also be an epic surprise if the champions Phoenix don't get in as well. That's still very much a possibility.
Yeah, there's been certain teams this year that I would never have thought after last year that Pittsburgh would struggle, but to be fair, they lost about 4 or 5 of their top players.
Yep.
Phoenix Rising, I didn't think that. San Antonio, I didn't see them struggling either. And yet new teams like Rhode Island have been fantastic. So yeah, it's what makes the USL such a wonderful league.
And this half has been a rather enthralling one. It's certainly been physical, it's been testy. Loudoun holding their own, that's for sure. And it is 0-0 at the half here at Lynn Family Stadium. After a 1-hour weather delay, these two teams were ready to get after each other. I think that's fair to say. And of course, there's a lot on the line. Big second half to come from Louisville, but halftime is next. It is 0-0 between the Players' Shield leaders and Loudoun United.
You ready to lose?
Oh, you wish. Let's go.
It's time to power up your old checking account. That's why Commonwealth Credit Union created Power Checking. This incredible all-in-one account powers your spending, and with built-in high-yield savings, grows your balance at the same time. No minimums, no limits, just unparalleled benefits.
Best 2 out of 3.
Let's go.
Get to the next level with Power Checking, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Now, it's time for Deep Verdicts by Judge Judy. That would be stupid. Does this face look stupid to you? Don't embarrass yourself. I'm sure you have family, children, and friends. When you act stupid, stupid things happen. Do you still live with your mother? 3 o'clock Judy, weekdays on WDRB.
You want to be a lifeguard? This is the real deal.
When you're on a holiday,
this is more than just a job. It's life.
On an island in the sun, we'll be playing and having fun.
I thought you said this job was easy.
The versatile Toyota RAV4 is ready for anything, on or off the road.
This RAV4 is a hybrid EV, so you can take your adventures even further.
Check out all this cargo space.
That's what you call room, with a view.
Now you can get a new 24 RAV4 and get low 4.99 APR financing.
Or lease a RAV4 from $339 a month, with 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Book your room now. Toyota, let's go places.
Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey back here with you at the half between Louisville and Loudoun. No score. It's been a real physical battle between these two so far, and it's well poised for the second half, which is coming up in just a moment. But first, big games coming up for both teams to look at. And Gary, we begin by looking at Louisville's upcoming schedule. Couple of tough road games coming up as we get towards the middle of September.
Yeah, tough, always tough away from home, but given how they've played this season, you got to fancy them. FC Tulsa, Detroit City is always a physical battle. They've had some great games in the past there at Detroit City. Memphis, Miami, they should be comfortable. So none of these are the toughest games, but if the teams that they're playing are struggling to make the top 8 and the playoffs, then they might turn out to be extremely difficult.
A couple of Philip Goodrum's former employers on the upcoming slate there for Louisville, so some grudge matches to come there. And then, of course, Lipa FC as well at Indy. That's going to be a big one as well. And every game for Loudoun, as Ryan Martin told us, is going to be a playoff game coming up.
Yeah, I mean, Birmingham Legion on sure of being in the playoffs. They're sitting very, very close at the edge. New Mexico top in the West. Colorado Springs have been playing well. Hartford looking to get into the playoffs in the East. So, yeah, exactly as you say, every match is going to be so tough.
So many games left that have a huge impact on not just the East, but also the Western Conference playoff chase in the USL Championship. We'll step aside for now. Still a big second half to come here in Louisville, but we'll have news and notes and a little bit more from around the USL Championship, including the upcoming schedule this weekend. All of it's coming up next.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
This is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blazed the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Beautifully done, Pino! My goodness! 2-0 for Birmingham.
Worth takes it.
Oh, and it's in! Nate Worth with a moment of brilliance.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
It's been said you shouldn't mess with a good thing. But when you get behind the wheel of the 2024 Toyota Tacoma, you'll know why we did. We took the best-selling truck in its class the past 19 years and made it better with trail-dominating power, legendary capability, and high-end performance. This Tacoma is built for fun, inside and out. Now it's your turn. Get 5.99 APR financing on a new 24 Tacoma or lease one now for $319 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
Back here at the half, Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey here with you, moments away from the start of the second half between Lou City and Loudoun. Louisville have a chance to clinch a playoff spot tonight if they avoid defeat. It is 0-0 at the half against Loudoun. Can't say this is how it's going to be at the end of the season, but the current USL Championship playoff bracket, if the season ended today, would actually pit Lou City against Loudoun in a first-round playoff matchup. But so much of this can change in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and at Lynn Family Stadium as well, so it'll be a replica of this game. But like you said, it's going to chop and change a whole bunch. But it's exciting to see what some of those matchups could be.
No question about that. There's definitely some juicy ones. Vegas in a 6th spot, that'd be another huge moment for them getting to the playoffs as well. We'll see if Dennis Sanchez's side, similar to Ryan Martin's side, can get there and make some history for their respective clubs. Big news as we look at some news and notes from around the league. Of course, Nick Marcanic, who could potentially having a record-setting season himself, has completed a big transfer to Liga Two, CD Castellón, following the conclusion of the season. Of course, international duties having a big impact around the USL with the Championship and League One. Lots of Nations League games coming up. But how about Vegas coming back from 2 down to beat Orange County? It's why a lot of people are starting to look at Vegas and thinking they can make a deep run.
It's a very good side, and it's got depth, and it was all put together in February this year. Up until then, they didn't have a single player. Then Sanchez took over. He's built that team up, and they have every chance of going very deep in the playoffs.
I really do think Dennis Sanchez should get some consideration for Coach of the Year. Around the league, 0-0 so far between New Mexico United and Miami. And then, of course, that huge game later on tonight, Phoenix against Tulsa, with a lot of playoff implications there.
Yeah, playoff implications there. Tomorrow, Hartford, they have been playing well. They're coming on very strong. Pittsburgh, Rhode Island. Now, there's a clash because if Pittsburgh win, they'll be right up next to Rhode Island.
Yeah, Albert Dequa makes his return as well to the Steel Army, and huge game as well tomorrow. Switchbacks against the Rowdies. Huge test for James Chambers' side. Detroit going to need a result at El Paso as well.
Yeah, they've just been slipping a little bit. And Monterey Bay, San Antonio, 2 teams who are currently out of the playoffs in the West.
You better be glued to ESPN Plus and all the streaming services tomorrow. A lot of big games throughout the weekend in the USL Championship. Highlights, stats, and second half kick are next.
Room with a view. That's what you get with the powerful new Toyota Tundra.
The electrified iForce Max powertrain can deliver up to 437 horsepower.
And this was easy. Tundra can tow up to 12,000 pounds.
And it's got the best resale value in its class.
Now you can make room for a new 24 Tundra and get 3.99 APR financing for 72 months, $2,000 customer cash, or a low $449 a month lease.
Nobody knows trucks like Toyota. Let's go places.
At Typical Insurance, you're just another senior.
That is the 3rd health insurance commercial with seniors at a farmer's market.
Right? Don't get me wrong, I love a fresh heirloom, but it's like those companies think we're all the same.
That's why I chose Humana. Before I signed up, I spoke to someone who actually listened to what I needed. She told me about benefits that were right for me, like vision and dental, all in my budget. I'm finally feeling control. What are you doing?
Taking control.
Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
When you need inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger. For thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And low prices that add up to big savings, like over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
It's been said you shouldn't mess with a good thing. But when you get behind the wheel of the 2024 Toyota Tacoma, you'll know why we did. We took the best-selling truck in its class the past 19 years and made it better with trail-dominating power, legendary capability, and high-end performance. This Tacoma is built for fun, inside and out. Now it's your turn. Get 5.99 APR financing on a new 24 Tacoma, or lease one now for $319 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
Time in the second half against Sporting Kansas City as well. Ball headed down and in, and Pittsburgh is in front. Playing a man down for nearly 70 minutes, the Riverhounds have taken the lead.
That must be the case, because...
That's headed on, and what a save by Gongora there! Tremendous! With the outstretched arms, knocks away the header from Jackson Conway. That's got to feel good.
About to get the second half started here in Kentucky between Louisville City and Loudoun United. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey, happy to have you along for the ride this evening on ESPN+. Let's look back at the first half highlights between these two. Of course, a lot of Louisville chances to get back on. Not too much for Loudoun, but Loudoun defended valiantly despite constant Louisville pressure.
Yeah, and a couple of question marks about potential penalties. Yanis Lehmann looking to have tripped Amadou Dia, but hard to be absolutely certain. The referee decides he couldn't be certain, doesn't give it, and just more pressure from Lou City. Early on, they just came wave after wave, and as you say, good defense by Loudoun to stop them. That effort coming in there from Taylor Davila, normally he's a little bit more accurate than that, got a fantastic left foot, and Hugo Faru able just to wave that over the crossbar. Here they come yet again. And this is Ray Serrano. Good shot, good save, and just comes off the body of Wilson Harris there. But Ray Serrano getting a lot of power behind that. Hugo Faru doing well to bat that one away. And yes, it's more Lou City pressure. I don't think Loudoun offered much in the attack in this first half. Ball whipped in here. Wilson Harris gets it on target, but not too much power on that. It just shows you what they are capable of. They've threatened around that Loudoun goal without actually getting the breakthrough.
It's going to be curious how Loudoun handles the second half. But again, Louisville continued to get some chances. That was a miss from Serrano. Maybe the best passage of play Lou City had in the first half, but it did not turn out to be a goal. And to your point, Loudoun didn't offer much. Well, they offered exactly nothing in the attack. 0 shots, 0 on target. Possession, they held their own, and defensively, they were able to, pardon the phrase, weather the storm a bit in that first half. Now can they maybe stretch out and start to attack?
Yeah, absolutely. That is the question. I can give you the expected goals, and you're right. Loudoun 0.00. For Lou City 0.59, so it's over half a goal. Possibly that Ray Serrano chance as you picked out being the best one, but they have to do more as well. Philip Goodrum is an option, and in fact there's already some changes being made, so let's just see what both coaches on each side decide to do here to try and liven things up.
Yeah, it is a halftime alteration for Loudoun. That's going to be the end of the night for Khalil Al-Medkar, and Tommy Williamson is going to come on. Certainly capable of being a goal scorer and a game changer. So a slight alteration there for Loudoun. Williamson has one USL Championship goal this season.
Yeah, he's got a lot to prove, Tommy Williamson. A good striker, a clever striker, but his return on goals has not been enough. Wesley Leggett's got 7, Zach Ryan's got 9. Tommy Williamson, as you said, just the 1. So perhaps this is a game for him to show everybody what he can do.
Well, that man's had a lot to hear about in the first half, our center referee. As Louisville get the second half started, Lou City will be going from left to right at Lynn Family Stadium for the second 45 minutes. And we are very intrigued to see how this all plays out. Loudoun were able to stand up to Louisville physically and fended off a lot of their attacks. Can they start to stretch their wings a little bit here out and get some opportunities themselves? And can Louisville find the breakthrough? They have had a couple of strong opportunities, but haven't really tested Hugo Faru to his full potential so far. These two have never finished in a draw in the prior 8 meetings, and like we said earlier, Loudoun trying to get just their second ever win over Lou City, the last being in July of 2019, over 5 years ago. Also want to give a shout out to all the fans who were patient with us through the weather delay, especially the fans in the building that have stuck around and provided another wonderful Lynn Family Stadium atmosphere. We had a 1-hour weather delay, but the game has certainly brought the heat, at least in the first 45.
It has, and I'm expecting to see certain substitutions that could bring more heat, especially from Lou City. Philip Goodrum, just wondering if they'll, rather than replace Wilson Harris, play the two of them side by side. Wouldn't that be wonderful to see two great strikers together? And that could be something that the boys in purple, the fans of the boys in purple, will be very, very excited to see. And of course, Jake Morris can come on with fresh legs.
Dylan Maris, smashes it off the upright. And I don't think Farouk got a touch onto that. It's going to be a goal kick. Dylan Maris is making his first start this season. He almost scored.
That is a good strike, isn't it? So much power, and just clips the outside of the post there. Maybe the keeper got the faintest of touches, hard to see, but that's better from Lou City. You know, getting efforts on goal or close to goal. They didn't do enough of that first half. They put a lot of pressure on. They just didn't have much to show for it.
First involvement for Ryan Troutman for Louisville in the early parts of the second half. You mentioned that in the first half as something that Ryan Martin's side need to do. They need to test the young goalkeeper in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, he played that one match, Ryan Troutman, against Frankfurt, a friendly, conceded 4 goals. So, you know, you look at him and you go, well, he's still finding his feet. And you know, if you've had 4 put past you, maybe you're not totally full of confidence. You know, get some shots on target. They haven't done that at all in the first half, as we saw from the XG being 0.0. I wonder if they're going to be able to get anything. The problem is getting the ball off Lou City. Look how they dominate, how they control the game in the middle of the park.
Oh, a challenge comes in there. It's going to be a foul for Louisville. Free kick. Oh, at least that was the initial indication. It might go Loudoun's way here.
Yeah, I think it's offside, perhaps. But again, a little bit testy, bit of pushing and shoving going on.
I think you're right, Gary. It may have been a foul, but the offside flag negates that. Thumbs up from Keegan Hughes to the assistant. A little bit of a bailout there for Loudoun. It's a free kick for the visitors. That ball feathered up ahead. Ooh, Kwame Awuah gets on the end of this for Loudoun. And a little bit of a slip there from Wesley Leggett. Tried to thread the needle to Zach Ryan. When those two connect well, Loudoun can be very difficult to stop. Here's Wilson Harris up the other end for Lou City. It's Zach Ryan doing the defending and holding his own there, helping Loudoun get the ball back.
Loudoun are doing such a good job of getting numbers behind the ball.
Lou City quickly wins it back, but Wilson Harris can't find a teammate.
Literally every player got back there for Loudoun United, and what they did just before that, they played a long ball up and they try to win that ball and then flood players forward. So if you can't play through Lou City, which is very difficult to do when they high press you, just go over the top, try and win the knockdown, and then build from there. And as soon as you lose possession, everyone get back behind the ball. That seems to be the game plan coming from Ryan Martin.
Leggett almost evaded Tosh. It stays with Loudoun just in front of Danny Cruz. Sent ahead by Keegan Hughes. Tingy evades the first challenge. The point of attack is switched to Jacob Erlandson. Didn't see a ton of possession from Loudoun in this part of the field in the first half. Can they move this into the final third? That's the next step, although that's a giveaway. Wilson Harris Is he tripped up? Yes, he is. This time Louisville get the free kick, and it's in a good spot.
He's frustrated, Wilson Harris. Oh, he actually asked the referee on all the previous occasions for a yellow card. I think the referee told him to start doing it there. So he sat there and he just looked forlorn. He couldn't appeal for the yellow card because he's been tripped time and time again. But he keeps winning free kicks in good positions for the boys in purple.
And even with a few notables out, see, it's a fifth third bank free kick. Louisville still have multiple options over who can take this one. Serrano getting instructions from Danny Cruz and his staff. Taylor Davila certainly a prime candidate to take this. 4 in the Loudoun wall. It's Davila into the wall, and then McFadden scores! Well, Louisville appealed for a penalty, but Aiden McFadden reacts the quickest and gives Louisville the breakthrough.
That's the pressure, isn't it? That's so good of Wilson Harris, what he's been doing, winning free kicks on the edge of the box. You get the free kick from there, then you get a knockdown that just falls perfectly from McFadden. Good finish, good strike, but it's just build-up of pressure, creating good situations there, getting first to the knockdown. Is an effort by Yanis Learman to try and block it, but yeah, a little bit of luck. It does go straight to McFadden, but you've earned the right to get some luck by situation after situation where they've had free kicks on the edge of the box and eventually something falling for Lou City.
Aiden McFadden's 4th USL Championship goal of the season is presented by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. And at long last, Louisville have their lead.
Yep, you've got to say it's deserved. They've had nearly an XG of 1, so they've now got the 1 goal. The big question is, can Loudoun United change the way they play to come back into this match? Maybe they're going to have to take more risks, push up more players, leave themselves vulnerable to transitions, but they have to do that if they're going to get back into the match.
Here comes Louisville again. Dia, second best. Good sliding challenge from Keegan Hughes at the expense of a Lou City throw. Certainly at Lynn Family, you don't want to get into a track meet with Louisville City, but Loudoun might have to turn it up a bit if they are to get back into this. Ooh, that's a rare miscued pass from Ordonez. Williamson picks it up. Florian Velo brings this forward, but very quickly, Dylan Maris wins it back for Louisville. Boy, Arturo Ordonez giveaway are collector's items, my goodness.
But look how quick they were to win it back, though, Lou City. Absolutely fantastic. And now at home, you would expect them to be able to just hold possession, keep it, tempt Loudoun to come out and push bodies forward, then look for the gaps in between the lines or over the top.
Davila wins the header. Erlinson pressured by Harris. Velo forced to go back. More Lou City pressure. Winder. Kwame Owua. Erlinson has some time to cover things for the visitors. Velo.
There's no reason for Loudoun to have to panic in any way at the moment. 1-0 down. They can still get back in this game. Just mustn't fall a second goal down, so you don't want to take too many risks. Last 10 minutes, yeah, perhaps then you throw extra bodies forward. But right now, they've just got to keep it tight, keep playing the way they have, bodies behind the ball, maybe going long and trying to pick up the knockdowns. Because to be fair, they're 1-0 down, but it was a little bit unlucky. Hits the wall, could have gone anywhere, goes to McFadden. Yes, that's what you get by applying pressure, so credit to Lou City. But certainly Loudoun will feel that they've played this game fairly well and they've managed to control most of Lou City's attacks.
Erlinson had some time and space. He flares it out to the far side. Good step defensively by Dia. McFadden just scored Louisville's 68th goal this season and improved Lou City's Lynn Family Stadium goal differential to plus 27.
And to think they're probably going to top their group, probably top the USL, which means they'll have all their playoff games at home at the Lynn Family Stadium. So it's going to take a special team to beat Lou City, you would think, as we get to the playoffs. But then Charleston Battery is a special team, so too is Tampa. So it's nothing's given as yet, but still, take nothing away from Lou City. It has been an incredibly impressive season so far.
Hughes. Oh, McCabe on the turn. He lost out. Davila. Lou City have some numbers in the attack here. Davila for Wilson Harris. Harris on the turn. He's dispossessed. And Loudoun tell him to get back onto his feet. Ooh, that was a late challenge that came in. Loudoun free kick, and Taylor Davila is going to get booked for that.
Yeah, it was a late tackle, and it's a dangerous tackle. It has the possibility of hurting the opponent. He quite rightly gets a yellow card for it. I'm surprised. Is that the first yellow card?
I was just about to say, Gary, you're right. It's the first yellow of the night, believe it or not.
It's a very, very late tackle, very, very dangerous one. And, you know, if it's careless, you get a warning. If it's reckless, you get a yellow, which that was. And if it's reckless with excessive force, then it's a red. Probably just short of being a red. But still, when you come in that late, so you've got to be very, very careful.
Yellow cards are brought to you by Bone Dry Roofing. And Loudoun resets. Does feel like Loudoun's had a little bit more of the ball, but they haven't really gotten the ball anywhere. Into Lou City's attacking third still. To this point, that's going to have to change. Lou City are just going to keep trying to pick them off with their pressure. Erlinson. Reverse ball to Awuah, and again McFadden defends his position. Awuah follows up. It's a Lou City throw. And the physicality of the game has been a big storyline as well tonight, although Awuah is going to be penalized there. He fouls Serrano. Some of those kind of challenges have been let go at times tonight.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they've blown up for a free kick, but they haven't resulted in a card. And to be fair, I don't think either team's been nasty in any way. I mean, that Davila tackle was way late, and that deserved a yellow. But all the other stuff has just been fair and physical, and that's part of the game. And it's great to see two teams playing it in the right spirit.
Big leap from McFadden, but the header goes into the arms of Faroux. USL Championship soccer continues on the ESPN networks in September. It's a big matchup, two top teams in the East. Detroit City takes on Louisville. Big rivalry there. Sunday afternoon clash, September 22nd. It's 3 p.m. Eastern, and it's on ESPN2.
Wow, there were 9 Lou City players in Loudoun's half of the pitch when the keeper had the ball. That's pressure.
Davila marauding his way through. It's an excellent run. Harris trying to get through the pressure. Another faint penalty appeal comes in. Lou City forced to recycle through Adams and then Tosh. 30 minutes of the 90 left. McFadden battling with Awuah, and McFadden's allowed to continue on. McFadden into the middle. Oh, what a save by Faroux. It's not cleared yet. Now Ryan clears it. What a huge save from Hugo Faroux. Louisville denied his second.
Yeah, Tillamera is doing so well. He gets a good contact. It's right on target. And as you say, the keeper with a fantastic save. There was a question mark whether that was a foul there on Kwame Oahu. He seemed to absolutely think it was, and he was furious with the referee, but play was allowed to go on. And from that, great strike from Dylan Meres, and could very well have been the second. So Loudoun living a charmed life at the moment.
There's also some appeals over whether or not Wilson Harris was fouled, trying to turn into a shot. It did look like he may have been held a bit there, but again, the referee says not enough for a penalty. And Louisville just keep on coming. Another chance to cross into the middle. It's touched away from Harris. Maris follows up. Winder wins it back for Louisville and has a throw-in on the far side. Lou City just relentless at the moment.
Well, that's what makes them such a fantastic side. 1-0 up, they don't stop. They keep coming at you. As I said a moment ago, when Hugo Faru had the ball at his feet, there were 9 Louisville City players in Loudoun's half of the pitch. They wouldn't let them breathe. They wouldn't let them play out, and to keep that level of intensity going, absolutely brilliant by the boys in purple.
Throw in from Amadou Dia. Tried to find Winder. Tingy was there defensively for Loudoun. Tosh follows up. Tingy just fighting for position, and he's fouled by Tosh. It's a free kick.
Tosh saying it's shoulder to shoulder. Referee disagrees, gives the free kick. Just take some pressure off for Loudoun United at the moment, because from going 1 up, you would think that Loudoun would get back in the game, that Lou City would sit off, but it's been the opposite. They've actually applied even more pressure.
And Loudoun, for those just joining us, continue to have no shots, let alone shots on target. And their XG, because of that, is still at 0.
I've got a sense that they'll go all the way to the 80th minute, having to, defend and try and contain Lou City. But once you get to the 80th minute or thereabouts, you're going to have to start taking big risks and throwing numbers forward. So maybe we're going to be treated to a really exciting last 10 minutes.
Harris wins the ball back fairly. Battles with 2 defenders and loops it over the top for Dia. A good early challenge comes in from Learman. It's out for a Louisville corner. And Lou City are getting a substitution ready here. We'll see if they get it before the corner. Philip Goodrum, we're told, is getting set to come on. And unfortunately, Gary, he will not be paired up with Wilson Harris. He's replacing him.
Such a pity. I'm sure a lot of neutrals would love to see the two of them together, but coach has to keep the shape of his team. And to be fair, Wilson Harris has worked his socks off. He's been excellent up front. He's won the free kicks. He won the free kick from which the goal came from. So whilst he might not have scored, he certainly has done a great job for his side.
It's a warm applause from the crowd as he finishes his shift for the night. And one great goal scorer replaces the other. Here comes Philip Goodrum for his 4th Louisville appearance. It's a Fortna substitution.
I bet Ryan Martin and many other coaches are looking at that, go, seriously? You've got 2 such good strikers, you replace one with the other?
From the corner, it's bent into the middle for Adams. Headed away by Learman. Davila resets. Maris. Davila's ball into the middle. It was close for Ordonez. Adams gets a head onto it, tried to find Goodrum. Tingy clears it, but not definitively. And then Williamson, he loses out. Follow up by Velo. It's kept in play for Williamson, but he's dispossessed again. The battle continues, and Williamson commits a foul. It's a free kick.
There's all sorts going on in the box here when these balls are coming in. You see Kyle Adams having his shirt ripped off his shoulder nearly, but without VAR, you can't go back. If there's VAR, there's probably 3 penalties in this game. But again, no criticism of the referee, because you've got to have eyes in the back of your head to see the stuff that's going on. And getting away with all sorts of tricks there, Loudoun United in defense.
It's a 5th Third Bank free kick here. 25 minutes plus stoppage time left. Serrano. Oh, Faru didn't quite get there. Adams is down, and I think Louisville again are appealing either for a corner or maybe a possible penalty. We do know it's a possible head injury, and play will be stopped.
Well, the issue is if Faru comes and doesn't get the ball and gets the play, then it must be a penalty. So does he get anything off the ball? Well, hard to see there. Let's have a look now. Does he? I don't know if he does or not. Doesn't get the initial ball, but does it get flicked onto the goalkeeper? Referee probably consulting with his assistant refs. They again can't be 100% sure, so it's another penalty appeal. All I can say is I hope, from a neutral perspective, that Loudoun are not in a situation at the end of the game to have dropped points, because as long as they win, these 3 or 4 penalty appeals get ignored. If they drop points, I think Daniel Cruz will have something to say about this. And you can see McFadden just in the corner of the screen, also going to have a chat with the assistant ref.
Ray Serrano, as you can now see, was having a word with our center official as well, Ricardo Montero Oraya.
But I don't think players or coaches can be sure either. I mean, we're seeing it in slow-mo, and we're still not sure. So I think everyone's just obviously shouting for whichever team they're on. Ultimately, the referee has got a very difficult call to make. I think the frustration for Lou City is every one of those 4 penalty calls has gone against them or in favor of Loudoun. That clearly is frustrating, but there's nothing more to it than that.
Loudoun will make a change here. Cristiano Francois is going to come on, and we're told there might have been a talking to, or maybe more than that, to one of the Louisville staff members. I think there might be a sending off here. Simon Berg, I think we're told, is the one who's been sent off here, part of Louisville's coaching staff. Just before Loudoun, we're going to take Zach Ryan off to bring on Cristiano Francois. So Simon Bird is sent off, Louisville assistant coach, and on the Fortuna change confirmed, Ryan is off, Francois is on.
Yeah, it's a good change, and maybe there'll be another before the end of this match up front, because they need to do something. Loudoun United, they need fresh legs, they need a bit of pace, which Francois is going to bring them. They need players who can have a go at this Lou City defense. They need players in midfield who can get the ball and make a run at the defense, because, as you say, with an XG, expected goal still of 0.0, not a single shot at all. It's time, with 20 minutes to go, it's time for Loudoun to start doing something in attack.
Here's Florian Velo, tries to take on the shot, that's blocked away. Tingy back across, it deflects out, and Loudoun have a corner here with just over 20 minutes left.
Well, a chance to test Ryan Troutman in goals. Again, you would think before the match they would have said any set pieces, put them on the goalkeeper, everybody challenge in front the keeper, behind him, and let's see if he's confident enough to come and catch the ball.
Ryan Martin told us how important set pieces were going to be tonight. Well, here's an opportunity. Loudoun have not been able to even have a sniff at Louisville's goal yet. McCabe will take. And McCabe's ball in is going to be headed away by Philip Goodrum. Velo gets it back and curls it into the penalty area. Oh, it flashes past Williamson. Louisville thought he may have handled that, but in the end, Troutman collects.
I just wonder if we're not seeing a shift in the momentum of the match. It's been all Lou City in the second half. They've been absolutely brilliant, but just Loudoun know that time's running out. They're having to push a few numbers up. There's a, I won't say a high press, maybe a mid press here coming from them. 4-5 players in white in the Lou City half, but once again, Lou City played through it very comfortably.
Here's Amadou Dia. Winder linking up with Serrano. Still a very fine margin despite all of the Louisville pressure. Adams. Again for Dia. Winder on the turn. It could open up here. Maris. Tosh. Tosh into the middle. That cross comes up short, but a second opportunity here. Serrano. Into the middle it goes, and Faroux is there ahead of Maris and ahead of Goodrum.
A comfortable catch for the goalkeeper. Poor clearance before that. That's one thing Loudoun have to be careful. You're going to clear it the length of the, your half. You can't just leave it on the edge of the box. And now's a chance for Loudoun to push some numbers forward now and see if they can get some pressure on Ryan Troutman's goal.
Louisville are going to make another Fortuna change here. Dylan Maris is going to make way. And Adrian Perez is going to take his place. 2 goals and 6 assists for Adrian Perez this season. And not a bad first start of the season for Dylan Maris. Made a good impact. He's replaced with 19 minutes to go.
Yeah, look at the quality of player they can bring onto the pitch with Adrian Perez. Again, the strength and depth at a time when they've got a ton of injuries as well. Lou City just shows you what a fantastic roster they have.
Now that lovely ball through for Velo. And McFadden clears it away as the target of that pass was Francois, who was available. And it's another Loudoun corner here.
Well, here we go. They're getting themselves back in the match. And again, before the match started, if you'd have said to them you're 1-0 down with 20 minutes to go, they probably would have said, you know what, we might take that because, you can come here and get absolutely hammered 4 or 5. So to be 1-0, to be in the match, in with a chance of scoring and getting a point, that would be worth having.
Loudoun has some XG as well, 0.07. They're on the board there. Can they get on the board on the score sheet?
0.07.
Crazier things have happened as some of the Lou City fans are contesting that the ball was not on the arc by the corner flag where McCabe was settling. It actually looks like it is over part of the line. I'm not sure why the referee had McCabe move it. Just has to be over part of it, doesn't have to be on the line. And McCabe from the corner. Oh, that was a chance for Francois. He missed the opportunity to get a touch onto it. And Loudoun will get a throw, and before that happens, a couple more changes for the visitors here. Robbie Dambrot and Pape Wane is going to come on as well. Double change, Erlinson off, and Leggett is off as well. Both are Fortuna changes here. And I believe that leaves Ryan Martin with just 1 remaining substitution. Dambrot comes right off the bench to take the throw. Ooh, a little bit of a tangled up moment there. Referee again lets it continue. Serrano with a definitive clearance. Goodrum fighting his way to try to get past a couple of players, most notably Keegan Hughes. He could not do it. Loudoun get the possession back. Out to the far side it goes. Loudoun have hung around. Can they get a reward for it? Goal from Aiden McFadden currently separates the sides. Finished 1-0 to Louisville in the first meeting. It's 1-0 again here. But there's still time left. Awua. It's played back for Keegan Hughes. Now Tingy. It's lifted down the far side, and Adams gets ahead onto it. Velo follows up. Still Florian Velo. Some help arrives. McCabe into the penalty area. McFadden's header away. It's headed down for Francois by Dambrot. Francois goes to work. Francois sees a very glimpse of an opening. He does win a corner as his shot, as errant as it was, did take a deflection.
What's that, the 3rd corner in the last sort of 5 to 10 minutes? That's much, much better from Loudoun United. Still haven't really tested Ryan Troutman in goal, but certainly there's an option or possibility of that happening.
15 minutes plus stoppage time left. Big chunk of the game to go. And it's still just the 1 Louisville goal to 0. And we talked about it earlier. Any points Loudoun can get at this stage could be so important for them in the playoff hunt. And McCabe is a bit wasteful with the corner over everybody's head, and Louisville is going to shepherd that out for a throw in here. Louisville 2024 ticket packages are available now. Lou City's next home match, September 28th at 8:30 p.m. Bring your friends and family to Lynn Family Stadium when the boys in purple take on Memphis. Tickets are available at loucity.com/tickets.
You know, even a point here tonight would be a fantastic point for Loudoun. I mean, to come to Lynn Family Stadium, it would boost their confidence, but it would give them a point that would take them above Birmingham into 7th position ahead of the weekend's games. And I just think that, you know, 7-6, you start to feel more comfortable sitting on 8th. You know you're in the last playoff spot. So a point here, I think they'd love it, Ryan Martin and company, if they can get something. So there's still a lot to fight for here for Loudoun United.
And again, Louisville have only dropped points here once all season. That was the 5-2 defeat to Rhode Island. Other than that, it's been all victories. This ball is played up ahead. This could be a chance for Loudoun. They might have the numbers. Francois coming through. Williamson as well. Wane assesses his options. The cross is blocked by Davila. Came back off of Loudoun. It's a goal kick. As Louisville reset, I can let you know that, fans, it's time to vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll will be open for 10 minutes, so go and vote now on the Lou City app.
Again, much better from Loudoun United. Numbers forward, options, possibilities. They haven't done anything with it, but first step is to get into the Lou City final third and then to see what you can create from there. They're not an easy team to beat. Oh, that's late. They're not an easy team to beat, Loudoun. They've only lost 3 of their last 15 games. So they haven't won a ton, but they haven't lost a lot either. It just shows that they're a very resilient side.
Yeah, that was a very late challenge from Philip Goodrum. He might be a bit lucky the referee didn't take a dimmer view of that. Pressure from Perez. Loudoun had to be careful there. It gets back to Faroux. And Loudoun maybe starting to look up at the clock and realize time not necessarily on their side here. Francois, good hold-up play. Ball curled up ahead, it comes up short. Dia retains the possession for Louisville. Here's the goal scorer, McFadden. He strides into the space. Francois' challenge falls for Serrano. And Serrano had no one to pass it to. It's a turnover. McCabe back out wide. Tingy down the line. And Winder ends up winning it right back for Lou City. Wane and Tingy continue to pressure him, but it's Louisville possession. Just over 10 minutes to play.
Yeah, time works for Lou City here. If they keep losing possession up front, Loudoun, the boys in purple will take their time. Obviously, they'll just slow things down. And Loudoun will have to rush things more and more as they try and get something out of this game. And I think for McFadden and company, they'll be hoping for a clean sheet. Just 1 clean sheet in the last 10. It'd be great for Ryan Troutman, his first USL start this year, to come back with a clean sheet, because they've struggled to get them. They've conceded 18 in those 10 games. So going forward, of course, they've scored a ton of goals. But as we saw in the last match, conceded 4 in that 6-4 victory over North Carolina. Nothing against Damien Lasso, I think is a wonderful goalkeeper. It's just as a team they haven't defended probably as well as Danny Cruz would have liked.
Yeah, Damien Lass has had 7 of Louisville's 8 clean sheets this season, so it'd be a rarity for someone else to be in there and for Louisville to get a clean sheet still. Goodrum trying to reverse ball looking for Perez. Loudoun cut it out. Williamson on the turn. Winder is fouled. Talking about what the result could mean potentially for Loudoun if Louisville can see this out. go up to 59 points, and they'll have a 6-point cushion on the Battery, who are in second in the East. And of course, Louisville would still have a game in hand on Ben Pierman's side as well. They would continue to extend their lead in the Players' Shield hunt. And of course, Louisville would clinch a playoff spot as well. 9 minutes to see if that's all going to come true for Lou City. Winder finds Perez, who has some space to run into here for Lou City. Here's McFadden. McFadden cuts it back. It's still McFadden. And his shot soars into the seats.
He did so well, McFadden there. Once he was going to hit it, then he stopped, kept on going. Second time, kept on going. He'd done all the hard work, and then just doesn't keep the shot on target.
2 Fortuna changes coming up for Louisville. Jake Morris is going to come on for Amadou Dia. And Niall McCabe is going to come on for Taylor Davila. Two players that have played an integral role in Lou City's success, not just tonight, but this season. Exit, and 2 more very strong Louisville players take their place. Jake Morris comes on. He's had 9 goal contributions this season, 4 goals, 5 assists. Perez, might have been a foul. Referee lets play continue here. Dambrot on the near side. Kwame Awuah. Can Loudoun pull this back? Dambrot. Played it centrally. McCabe and Awuah. Again, Louisville keeping, I should say Loudoun keeping possession, but not really doing a ton with it yet.
It doesn't help you. You've got to get shots on target there. You've got to test Ryan Troutman, who has not been tested at all this game so far.
Here's Francois. He continues to look for openings, and he's fouled. It's going to be a free kick. I think Louisville were expecting that to go the other way. It's going to be a really good position here for a Loudoun set piece.
Yeah, well, Lou City scored from a free kick, even though it wasn't direct. It was knocked down off the wall, and they pounced on the loose ball. I wonder if Loudoun can do the same. Certainly Christian Francois, he's brought something added, extra to the team. He runs at defenders, he commits them, and he's come on at a time when the defenders are pretty tired. So, again, good thinking from Ryan Martin all round, but he certainly has made a difference since he came on as Cristiano Francois.
Well, the way it's going, Loudoun are not going to have too many chances down the stretch. They have to take advantage of opportunities when they are given them. And this is a free kick in a very promising position, with Loudoun in search of a late leveler. 3 in the Louisville wall.
3 in the wall's not a lot from there. I just wonder if he can bend it around this near side even, as opposed to the other side. No, they're going to go the far side by the looks of it.
Williamson. Well out of play. And another wasted Loudoun chance.
You know what's frustrating? It wasn't even close. It was one thing if it just clips the bar or the goalkeeper, but you know, that was miles. You can see what the fans think about it. But you know, at a time when you need a player to come in and do something special, at least hit the target, and at least work the goalkeeper. That was just miles over. You're not going to win any favors from your coach, Ryan Martin, with those sort of efforts on goal 5 minutes from time when you're 1-0 down.
Also felt like the low percentage option. Awuah had a chance to maybe curl it the other way when there was more of an opening in Troutman's goal, but Loudoun opted for the other option.
We go back to what we said at the very beginning of this game. You've got a young goalkeeper, he's untried, untested. The very first thing you say is get shots on him, you know, get crosses on him. He hasn't had a cross to deal with or a shot to deal with, and that was the perfect time just to bounce one in front of him and just test him, but they haven't done that at all, have Loudoun United.
We were talking about this during the weather delay, but even early on, with the weather being a factor as well, another good opportunity to test an inexperienced goalkeeper, but Loudoun didn't get any chances like that in the first half. Could they get a chance late here? Dambrot. Oh, it's a first-time ball back in. It is dealt with. Perez helps it along for McFadden, and McFadden gets it upfield. And then it's going to be a foul going Louisville's way. Goodrum taken out by Hughes.
Goodrum doing so well to wait for the contact, go down, win the free kick. His team's been under a little bit of pressure. That's a fantastic free kick to win at this stage of the game. And why Danny Cruz was so excited to have this man in the team. He's a gritty player. He's got a good football IQ. He's a great finisher. But he wins you those sort of free kicks just when you need them.
Danny Cruz said about Philip Goodrum, he's been excellent. Culturally great, I should say. He's done the job extremely well. He wants to start. He understands that, of course, but he's a true pro. So he's done everything Louisville have asked of him to this point. Again, part of why Loudoun have struggled is because Louisville, whether it's through possession and attacking and putting pressure on her, through doing the job defensively, have just limited Loudoun's pretty potent attack to not very much to work with in this one, especially in the first half. But Loudoun have only had some set-piece opportunities in the second half. There's still time for them to create something here, and that challenge from Kyle Adams is going to lead to a booking and another Loudoun free kick.
You have to be careful here, Lou City, giving away too many free kicks in dangerous situations. All their hard work in the first 80 minutes, they don't want to throw it away here right at the very end. Just stay on your feet there, you know. You can see he's frustrated because he's sort of got the ball, but in that situation, just stay with the striker, stay on your feet, guide the striker away from goal down the touchline, and maybe that would have been the better option for Kyle Adams.
Another bone dry roofing yellow card for Louisville. And again, Loudoun given an opportunity from a set piece. Can they make something happen? Kwame Awuah will take this. And Awuah's ball in again comes up short. McCabe looks to recycle. Awuah back into the mix. Adams with the header. Winder helps it along. Played out to this near side. Dambrot. It's a third opportunity for Loudoun. Ball back in. Goes over just about everybody. Was flicked on for Williamson. Williamson looks to chop in a cross. It took a deflection. It's a Loudoun corner as we approach the 90th minute.
Some important defending for Lou City to do here, but the expected goal so far for Loudoun still just 0.13. I mean, you were talking about how good Lou City have been in applying the high press. They've just not allowed Loudoun to create almost anything up until now.
Another chance here from a set piece. That's where Loudoun have had pretty much all their opportunities. Velo to take. It's a good ball in. It was a chance maybe for Hughes. Two players are down in the penalty area. Referee's gonna have to stop this. I think there's a potential head injury here, and the play is finally brought to a halt.
Yeah, two very committed players there, both going for that ball. And the referee doing the right thing. Tough for Loudoun because they had a ball in the edge of the box. They wanted to whip it back in, but you've got to put the safety of the players first. And great commitment from both of them there and going for that ball. Let's have a look at it again. It's Hughes who gets hit, and I think Ordonez as well. While we've got a moment, just to talk about expected goal, 5 minutes of added time. That's good news for Loudoun. But 0.13, just to show you how good Lou City have been tonight in terms of giving Loudoun nothing. 0.13. In the last match against Phoenix Rising, Lou City's XG was 0.98. In the previous match against Rhode Island, 1.84. They beat Tampa, 2.25 against Tampa. And even when they lost away at Oakland, 0.98. They have 0.13. I don't know if any team this season has had a lower XG over 90 minutes than 0.13, it's just been a suffocating performance by Lou City from everyone, especially in the high press. Absolutely brilliant.
Especially coming off a game where you conceded 4 and had to score 6 to win.
Yeah.
That should be mentioned, of course. The other part of the equation right now is that both teams do have one substitute remaining that they can use if Hughes or Ordonez for either side can't continue. Hughes looks to be all right, but there's still concern over Arturo Ordonez, and he's going to get a bandaged, I think, setup here on his head.
Danny Cruz barking out some instructions there. And to be fair, again, to Lou City, it's the one goal, but there's been 4 good penalty appeals. No criticism on the referee. I don't think he really could have given any one of them, and yet, if there was VAR, I think they would have given all 4 of them, because there was something there. You just can't see it in real time. So, you know, it would have been so frustrating for them if they didn't walk away, or if they still don't walk away with all 3 points.
There's still time for some late drama here. And again, this injury stoppage now has lasted for about 2.5, 3 minutes. So will that be factored in? Again, that comes down to the referee on the pitch to factor in the extra minutes. We could play into a 7th or 8th stoppage time minute, but we will see. And from the restart, Loudoun were able to get the ball back in the penalty area, and maybe not a true test, but Troutman handles it.
Yeah, well done, Ryan Troutman. It's taken to the 93rd minute for him to have to make a save or a catch, but he came out, he did it. Nice height on the ball, perfect for him, but if he keeps a clean sheet in his first full appearance, then I think it'll be a happy day for Ryan Troutman.
At a minimum, there's 2.5 minutes left, but there should be some more time added on because of the injury stoppage in stoppage time. So we'll see. Kwame Awuwa will restart the play. And the only reason I'm prefacing it in that regard is you have seen referees ignore some of those and end the game early. It really comes down to the referee's discretion in that particular scenario, with help, of course, from the 4th official. Ball's played out wide by Hughes. Still an opportunity. The door is still left ajar for Loudoun, ever so slightly. This is won back by Philip Goodrum. Can Lou City finish the job off here? And the offside flag's going to go up against Jake Morris.
Yep, definitely an offside there. But, you know, just watching Loudoun with, what, 2 minutes plus a little bit of added time to go, and they're playing little balls around in their own half, and I'm thinking, get the ball up the other end of the pitch, give it a nice high, you know, give it some height to it, and ask one or two of the guys up front to challenge, even push a centre back up if you have to. But you've got nothing out of Lou City all day long, and you're going to keep knocking the ball around here. Well, you know, chances are you're going to lose 1-0 because you're not creating any goal-mouth opportunities.
And time just continues to tick off the clock here. Loudoun are wasting time, just passing it around at the back. Williamson out wide. Now it's getting moved forward. Tingy for McCabe. Again, Loudoun need to get the ball in the penalty area here. They don't have a lot of time to work with. Dambrot. Still Robbie Dambrot. Maybe thought about taking on the shot. McCabe out wide. Again, Loudoun need to create something here. They're wasting some valuable seconds off the clock. Awuwa. Francois cuts inside. It's a Loudoun opening. And the shot goes well wide of the target.
Yeah, it wasn't a great shot, was it, from Cristiano Francois, but at least he had a go. As you said, there was 3 or 4 chances to put in a good cross. There was a chance for Damrot to have a shot. Nobody actually pulled the trigger on anything until Cristiano Francois. And in the end, it's not a great strike, but come on, Loudoun. The clock is ticking. You need to get something on frame, surely.
And again, the 5 minutes are up. You would think there could be 2 or 3 additional minutes on the back end to play here. Out for a Louisville throw. Learman's clearance. Louisville taking their time. Which ball should we use? Use up a little bit of clock.
Throw an extra ball in there just to slow things down.
Finally, McFadden gets the ball into play. Again, that's why Loudoun needed to do a little bit more with the possession they had there. Now Louisville can use more time, and Perez does well. Uses up some extra seconds, but Loudoun get the free kick. Now Goodrum gets in the way of a restart. Referee just, I think, stops the play, gives a couple of words, and Loudoun have to get on with it here. All eyes are going to be on the referee as the seconds tick by. How much more time will he allow to let this game continue? Just had a little peek at his watch there, and again, Loudoun cannot waste any time just passing the ball around. Here's McCabe. Sent over to this near side. Dambrot chests it down. Dambrot digs out the cross. It's tame in the end. Troutman has no issues. Well defended by McFadden.
Yeah, the fans love it. Ryan Troutman getting all sorts of applause there, but in the end, they just haven't offered anything going forward, Loudoun United. Even here in the dying moments, nothing. Have they defended well? Yes. But to be fair, I thought Lou City on the night were just way better. The pressure they put, oh, trouble.
Oh, Farouk just got that. A little bit of miscommunication with Learman. And Goodrum nearly pounced on that.
But the pressure from Lou City has been absolutely brilliant and fully deserving of the 3 points.
Louisville clinch a playoff spot for a 10th consecutive season. They beat Loudoun by 1-0. And now they'll have their eyes set on claiming the Players' Shield. Aiden McFadden is the match winner. And Loudoun are confirmed to being back in the playoffs yet again. And who knows, they might be at Lynn Family Stadium for quite some time in this upcoming playoff push. Loudoun took maybe a little bit too long to get going as far as their attacking prowess is concerned. But really, you have to give the credit to Loudoun, I should say to Louisville's defensive output, their pressure in the attacking third, and of course, their win as well. And with that, Lou City victory, you can head to any participating Louisville area Wendy's tomorrow and get that free small Frosty, no purchase necessary, for a 12th time this season. Louisville are winners on their home patch. Let's take a look at tonight's move of the game. It's presented by Toyota. Got a funny feeling that Aiden McFadden has a pretty big part in this.
Oh, absolutely. 0-0 with the free kick initially, but it drops perfectly for Aiden McFadden. Yeah, it gets a deflection off Yannis Learman, but he put so much power on it that it was heading towards goal. A keeper probably wouldn't have saved it anyway, and it came from the incessant pressure of Lou City in attack.
Aiden McFadden is our Lynn family man of the match. His 4th goal of the season allows Louisville to win, and they clinch a playoff spot. We'll step aside. As you can see, Louisville are 1-0 winners. We will wrap it all up after the break.
When you need inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger. For thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And low prices that add up to big savings, like over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
At Typical Insurance, you're just another senior.
That is the 3rd health insurance commercial with seniors at a farmer's market.
Right? Don't get me wrong, I love a fresh heirloom, but it's like those companies think we're all the same.
That's why I chose Humana. Before I signed up, I spoke to someone who actually listened to what I needed. She told me about benefits that were right for me, like vision and dental, all in my budget. I'm finally feeling control. What are you doing?
Taking control.
Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
The versatile Toyota RAV4 is ready for anything on or off the road.
This RAV4 is a hybrid EV, so you can take your adventures even further.
Check out all this cargo space.
That's what you call room with a view.
Now you can get a new 24 RAV4 and get low 4.99 APR financing.
Or lease a RAV4 from $339 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Book your room now. Toyota. Let's go places.
Tonight's game resulted in a Kroger clean sheet, 0 goals, 0 hunger, 0 waste. How about that from Ryan Troutman? His first start for Louisville in a regular season game, and he gets a huge clean sheet as Louisville are able to win it by 1-0. And Wilson Harris celebrates by signing a few autographs with the Lou City fans here. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey here with you. We recap this one with full-time match highlights and a lot of Louisville chances early and often throughout the match.
Yeah, Amadou Diop doing so well early on. Was that a penalty? There were, I think we counted 4 penalty appeals there. Yannis Lehmann maybe making contact. Hard to be absolutely sure, but pressure from Lou City. Bodies in the box, asking questions of the defense the whole time. Never letting Loudoun settle there. Good save from Hugo Farou from a shot there out wide from Ray Serrano, and it bounces. Wilson Harris just bounces straight off his knee. Could have gone anywhere and goes straight out. More pressure, another penalty appeal, or coming up in a moment. First, Ray Serrano with that shot. And that really is a good opportunity to have buried it or at least tested the goalkeeper. So some frustration for Lou City, but eventually the goal will come. Davila with the free kick drops straight there for Aiden McFadden. He hits it with so much power. It takes a bit of a deflection off Yannis Lehmann and flies past Hugo Farou.
That got Louisville on their way, their 68th league goal of the season. Fans enjoyed it, and in the end, that was enough for Louisville. They held off Loudoun, who never got a shot on target. As we look at the full-time match stats, Louisville with 12 shots to Loudoun's 6th, and in the end, Loudoun offensively just never got clicking, and Louisville played a part in that.
Oh, absolutely. They absolutely smothered Loudoun United. High pressed them right up until about the 75th minute when Loudoun had a little spell on the attack. Their expected goals at the end of the match, 0.18. That is one of the lowest I've ever seen. And it's not because Loudoun weren't good, it's because I thought Lou City were fantastic in their press.
In the end, Aiden McFadden, not just the match winner, but our man of the match as well. And that's what it means, I should say. Looking at the Eastern Conference table, Louisville are back, as we expected, in the playoffs. Now they'll be looking to set some records and maybe get the Players' Shield wrapped up.
Yeah, they're in a great position. Loudoun are looking over their shoulder. Pittsburgh Riverhounds just behind them, although they've played the extra match. North Carolina with a game in hand, 4 points back. Hartford coming on strong. So Loudoun United, lots of big games coming up between now and the end of the season.
It's going to be a thrilling conclusion to the push to the playoffs in the USL Championship, that is for sure. Loudoun had a really good chance at the end to maybe grab something, but Lou City, again, just continue to be dominant in their fortress here at Lynn Family Stadium. They win it by 1-0, and they clinch a playoff spot. For Gary Bailey and our entire crew, Sean St. Jacques saying so long from Kentucky. Lou City clinch a playoff spot for a 10th consecutive season.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.